Hello, everybody. This is Kobe Pope, owner and creator of Wolf Self Care Products. Happy Mag Facts Monday. Today, we are talking about magnesium in regards to aging, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. There are things we need to know about magnesium and aging. Number one, aging itself is a risk factor for magnesium deficiency. As we get older, we become more deficient in magnesium and therefore require more in our diet and in supplement form. Number two, magnesium is deficient in people who have Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. And number three, telomeres, the deciding factor in aging, are protected by magnesium. All right. The Industrial Revolution harmed our health in a new way, with factories belching smoke and chemical poisons. Industrial farming techniques began poisoning the soil with pesticides, herbicides, and nitrogen fertilizers. The soil became lifeless. Talking about how nutrients pretty much, or the nutrients in soil is trash. Okay. We may think we are better in this century with our drugs and medical technology, but as we've seen, they have also become toxic and undermined our health, especially in a polluted environment where our basic nutrition is impaired. Popping anti-aging pills and mega vitamins, however, does not add years to your life. An excellent diet that provides optimal nutrition, exercise, and an outgoing and optimistic attitude, and therapeutic nutrients are the true keys to longevity. Aging equals calcification. Aging in general also means altered calcium and magnesium ion levels, indistinguishable from those observed in hypertension and diabetes, as noted. He was convinced that the aging body tissues have three times more calcium than magnesium. He knew that calcium precipitates out into tissues that are deficient in magnesium. He also observed that toxicity of excess calcium in the testicles, brain, and other tissues, and concluded almost a century ago that magnesium deficiency plays a role in senility. Insulin resistant states, as well, what is often thought of as normal aging, are characterized by accumulation of calcium and depletion of magnesium in the cells. Imbalance of calcium and magnesium ions might be the missing link responsible for the frequent clinical coexistence of hypertension, atherosclerosis, and metabolic disorders in aging. Magnesium deficiency and calcium excess may increase our susceptibility to cardiovascular disease as well as accelerate aging. Low magnesium ion levels were significantly associated with two conditions that plague the elderly: calf cramps and diabetes. Centenarians, people reaching 100 years old, have higher total body magnesium and lower calcium levels than most elderly people. Um, okay, longevity. Okay, so there's 7 points regarding aging and longevity. Number one, chronic marginal magnesium deficiency reduces lifespan in rats. Number two, magnesium deficiency accelerates aging through its various effects on the neuromuscular, cardiovascular, and endocrine apparatus, kidney and bones, and immune, anti-stress, and antioxidant systems. Number three, in developed countries, magnesium intake is marginal throughout the entire population regardless of age. However, diseases, handicaps, and physical and psychological impairments expose elderly individuals to more severe nutritional deficiencies and higher requirements. Number four, around the age of 70, magnesium absorption is two-thirds of what it is at age 30. Number five, intestinal malabsorption, reduced bone uptake and mobilization, increased urinary losses, chronic stress, insulin resistance leading to diabetes, and with severe magnesium loss of the urine, lack of response to adrenal stimulation, loss caused by medication, especially diuretics, alcohol addiction, and cigarette smoking. Number six, magnesium deficiency symptoms in elderly people include nervous system symptoms that seem largely neurotic, anxiety, excessive emotionality, fatigue, headaches, insomnia, lightheadedness, dizziness, nervous fits, sensation of a lump in the throat, and impaired breathing. Alright, talking about some more stuff. Yeah. Number seven, a trial of Oral magnesium supplementation is the best diagnostic tool for establishing the importance of magnesium. Mortality and magnesium deficiency. 2006 Journal of Epidemiology reported that there's a 40% lower risk of dying from all types of cancer and cardiovascular disease in men who have magnesium levels were highest compared to those who had the lowest. A study in 2014 documented that 34% lower risk of all causes of death in men and women with a higher intake of magnesium. The converse is seen in 2014 study. Hypomagnesium, hypomagnesia, hypomagnesemia in patients hospitalized in internal medicine is associated with increased mortality. The prevalence of hypomagnesemia in internal medicine is very high. It is associated with higher mortality and longer hospital stay in our population. Uh, hold on. Ooh, this is a long chapter. Okay. Free radicals, antioxidants, and aging. A free radical is an unstable molecule that is a product of normal body metabolism. A free radical has an unpaired electron that tries to steal a stabilizing electron from another molecule and, as a consequence, can produce harmful effects. External sources of free radicals include chemicals, pesticides, heavy metals, most infections, x-rays, alcohol, allergens, stress, and even excessive exercise. Antioxidants are vitamins and minerals such as magnesium, selenium, vitamin C, E, that turn off free radicals. The greater the amount of other antioxidants in the body, the more magnesium is spared from acting as an antioxidant, and it's free to perform its many other functions. Taking supplemental antioxidants protects the level of magnesium in the body. If there are not enough antioxidants available, an overabundant free radicals begin to damage the cell and destroy the normal healthy cells. Free radicals are necessary and normal products of metabolism, but uncontrolled free radical production plays a major role in the development of degenerative diseases since free radicals can damage any body structure, proteins, enzymes, fats, even DNA. Free radicals are implicated in more than 60 different health conditions, including heart disease, autoimmune disease, and cancer. According to current research, low magnesium levels not only magnify free radical damage, but can also hasten the production of free radicals. One study showed that low magnesium doubled the levels of free radicals. In addition, cells grown without magnesium were twice as susceptible to free radical damage as they were cells grown in normal amounts of magnesium. One study found that low magnesium levels were associated with increased oxidative stress and decreased cell proliferation. After several months of incubation, magnesium-depleted human fibroblasts exhibited characteristics of cells many times their age. It appears that low magnesium levels may compromise cell membrane integrity, damage the vital fatty layer of the cell membrane, making it more susceptible to destruction and allowing leakage through the membrane. Magnesium deficiency as one of the cause of leaky cell membranes or leaky gut is extremely important because this disruption of this type of cell can be fatal to cells and cause widespread problems that ultimately manifest in dozens of symptoms and conditions, including aging. All right. I'm just gonna skip past all that because it's pretty in depth. But memory. Research at MIT produced a study in 2004 that elevates magnesium to the position of memory enhancer. Particularly, brain receptors important for learning and memory depend on magnesium for the regulation. Absolutely necessary component of the cerebral spinal fluid in order to keep these learning and memory receptors active. The term used for the activity, interactivity, and changeability is plasticity. You might not think that a plastic brain is a good thing, but it is a loss of plasticity in the region of the brain responsible for storing short-term memories that cause forgetfulness in elderly. Magnesium is instrumental in opening brain receptors to important information while at the same time allowing them to ignore background noise. The study increasing the concentration of magnesium and reducing the background levels of noise led to the largest increase in plasticity ever reported in scientific literature. In 2011, a study effects of elevation of brain magnesium on fear conditioning, fear extinction, and synaptic plasticity in the infralimbic prefrontal cortex and lateral amygdala. Concludes that elevation of brain magnesium might be a novel approach for enhancing synaptic plasticity in a regional specific manner, leading to enhancing the efficiency of extinction without enhancing or impairing fear memory formation. In English, that statement simply means that magnesium reduces the physical reaction of fear, which can only be a good thing. Treating telomeres. A telomere is an essential part of the chromosome that affects how our cells age. They are the caps at the end of the chromosomes that protect them from unraveling or getting attached to another chromosome. Okay. Aging is documented in our DNA year by year. Greater numbers of redundant telomere segments at the end of our chromosomes are nibbled away, eventually leading to the chromosome exposed. Telomere segments keep genes stable but shorten over time as cell division become less efficient, especially if the enzyme telomerase reverse transcriptase is deficient or not working properly. As a study, Alturas telomere research, shortened telomeres correspond with a condition as the conditions associated with age include heart disease. Heart disease is often a product of magnesium deficiency. Google the title: short-term magnesium deficiency downregulates telomerase, upregulates neutral sphingomyelinase, and induces oxidative DNA damage in cardiovascular tissues. Relevance to atherogenesis, cardiovascular disease, and aging. Okay, read over the panel. Okay. The paper's discussion section is especially important, showing how telomeres are damaged by a host of environmental factors and how this damage is treatable and preventable by therapeutic levels of magnesium. After 21 days, telomerase levels had dropped significantly, 70 to 88%. In low magnesium group, telomerase measured specifically in heart cells was similarly reduced. Markers for free radicals damage to DNA were increased. Free radicals shortened telomeres. It only took 21 days for this extensive damage to occur. In conclusion, prolonged magnesium deficiency should be categorized as another epigenetic mechanism. All right. Value of magnesium in all tissues, in all cells, in all our mitochondria, and the production of our RNA and DNA. All right. Summarize. Okay. Aging magnesium deficiency over the age of 65. Many people show metabolic decline. All of the attributes of aging have been associated clinically and experimentally with magnesium deficiency. The aging process is also associated with an increased level of pro-inflammatory cytokines in tissues and cells, all present in magnesium-deficient animals, tissues, and different cell types. Oxidative stress, telomerase, and the heart. Magnesium deficiency saves off the end of telomeres, which can be equated with aging and cardiovascular changes, including hypertension, decreased ejection fraction, and cardiac failure. Magnesium deficiency and endothelial damage, changes in the endothelial lining of the blood vessels due to magnesium. Magnesium's importance of controlling microcirculation and lipid buildup in the arterial walls is still being overlooked by the. Okay. Magnesium deficiency and chronic stress. Short-term magnesium deficiency causes marked reduction in the heart cellular glutathione and in cells activating nitric oxide synthase that protect DNA. Magnesium deficiency can cause mutations in many types of cells. Congestive heart failure is an inevitability by age 75 to 85 for people in magnesium deficient states. Magnesium and cell signaling for heart. Magnesium has a critical role in the regulation of cardiac hemodynamics, vascular tone and reactivity, endothelial functions, carbohydrate, nucleotide, lipid metabolism, prevention of free radical formation, and stabilization of the genome. Another 17 studies find that magnesium has a crucial role in the control of calcium uptake, subcellular content, and subcellular distribution in smooth muscle cells and endothelial cells and cardiac muscles. Magnesium deficiency and genotoxicity. Magnesium deficiency can induce cell cycle arrest and initiate programmed cell death and is associated with DNA damage. Of that note, atherosclerotic plaque in the arterial walls of hypertensive patients show considerable considerable DNA damage, activation of DNA repair pathways increase, expression of P53, telomeres in space. Magnesium is antioxidant and calcium blocker. Oh wow. Okay. Alzheimer and Parkinson's. Magnesium deficiency can trigger or worsen Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Alzheimer's disease should be diagnosed only when other identifiable brain conditions have been ruled out, like brain tumors, alcoholism, vitamin B12 deficiency, vitamin and mineral deficiency, mercury, amalgam poisoning, depression, hypothyroidism, Parkinson's, stroke, excessive prescriptive use of malnutrition and dehydration. Almost half the cases that would assume to be Alzheimer's may, in fact, be dementia caused by such cerebral conditions as simple as dehydration, prescription drug intoxication, several cerebral allergic reactions to food or chemicals, or chronic nutrient deficiencies. Drugs that can worsen Alzheimer's disease include chlorpromazine, antihistamines, barbiturates, psychotropic drugs, and diuretics, with more being added to the list every day. Chemicals and toxic metals, particularly mercury and aluminum, are associated with Alzheimer's disease. The tangibles and plaques in Alzheimer's brain are identical to those produced by mercury poisoning. Mercury can be absorbed in the brain from dental amalgams, be acquired by taking flu shots or preserved with mercury, or come from habitually eating fish contaminated with mercury. Magnesium, when it's available in the body, will help detoxify heavy metals, even the ones as poisonous as mercury. Many Americans are exposed to aluminum through aluminum pots, cans, aluminum containing antacids and antiperspirants, aluminum foil, and tap water that may be high in aluminum. Considerable research has proven that brain neurons affected in Alzheimer's disease have significantly higher levels of aluminum than normal neurons. The damage is compounded because Alzheimer's patients also have consistently low magnesium levels within the hippocampus area of the brain, mostly affected by Alzheimer's. Furthermore, aluminum is able to replace magnesium. We're back. Aluminum can also become a substance for the brain, a substitute for magnesium in the brain, which allows calcium channels in the brain nerve cell wide open, allowing calcium to flood in, causing certain cell death. Acid rain increases levels of aluminum in trees, making trees age prematurely. All right. Diets of Alzheimer's patients might be very acidic, leaching calcium and magnesium from the body. People with Alzheimer's disease have elevated amounts of aluminum, iron, zinc, and reduced amounts of alkali metals such as magnesium, calcium, and potassium, which neutralize acidity in the diet. Typical Western diet high in protein, fat, and sugar is acid forming and may be an initial factor in creating aluminum overload in Alzheimer's. When scientists study the soil regions that have a high incidence of neurological diseases, they find that high levels of aluminum and low levels of magnesium and calcium. The neurons from victims of the disease also show high levels of aluminum and low levels of magnesium. Magnesium plays a vital role in protecting neurons from lethal effects of aluminum. Magnesium values are found to be significantly decreased in brain regions of Alzheimer's patients compared to controls. Magnesium is a positive agent in the treatment of Alzheimer's by protecting cognitive function and synaptic plasticity. Parkinson's disease, associated with the degeneration of the basal ganglia of the brain and a deficiency of the neurotransmitter dopamine. 4% of people No. 7 to 10 million people worldwide are living with Parkinson's disease. Only about 4% of people with Parkinson's disease are diagnosed before the age of 50. Men are 1.5 times more likely to have Parkinson's than women. Very little research on magnesium and Parkinson's, but there has been a flurry of animal research. Parkinson's patients have low magnesium concentration in the cortex, white matter, basal ganglia, and brainstem. Rats with chronic low magnesium intake exhibit a significant loss of dopaminergic neurons. Not sure I said that right, but calcium and aluminum are elevated in the brains of victims of Parkinson's disease as compared to people with normal brains. Ample magnesium could protect the brain from damage effects of aluminum, beryllium, cadmium, lead, and mercury, and nickel. Low levels of brain magnesium contribute to the deposition of heavy metals in the brain that herald Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's. If magnesium is low in the brain, heavy metals gain access much more readily. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next subject: dopamine and magnesium. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that helps control the brain's reward and pleasure systems. It also helps regulate movement and emotional responses. People with low dopamine activity may be more prone to addiction. Several steps on the pathway leading to production of dopamine require magnesium as a necessary factor. All right, magnesium deficiency dementia. Dementia is caused by magnesium depletion alone. These neurological conditions can present as seizures, delirium, coma, psychosis, which are quickly reversed by administering large doses of intravenous magnesium. Aspartame and MSG are neurotoxins. Okay. Treatment beyond magnesium. Filtered water, stay hydrated, Himalayan salt, magnesium. Check labels, avoid antacids containing aluminum, use natural antiperspirants without aluminum, avoid cooking with aluminum pots, don't drink fruit juice or soft drinks stored in aluminum containers. Check for heavy metal toxicity. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Happy MagFacts Monday. That is all for aging, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. You know where to shop the best supplements. www.wlfclfcre.com. Shop me. I got you. Thanks for watching.